Welcome boys and girls, Christine here with a Frontline status update for the 20th of April 2026. Currently, at the moment, we are dealing with an Illuminate attack across multiple worlds, and it is the duty of the Helldivers to defend these worlds. Now, this video is brought to you by the Ministry of Truth. Any kind of deviation from the approved script will be punished severely. See your local reorientation camp in order to achieve enlightenment as to what the goals and the outcome of Super Earth will be. As things currently stand, there have been a number of issues. This major operation that has lasted for several days has seen us defending against multiple attacks against the Illuminate. Some less successfully than others, to be certain. Like last day, for instance, we had several attacks and we didn't quite manage to hold on to everything, unfortunately. With regards to that, like Keith, for instance, ended up being a bit of a problem. So we are down to the last hours, but that's where victory can be achieved by Helldivers, and there are certainly a decent number of Helldivers at the moment fighting over these two planets, specifically Ain-5 and Eukoria, as things currently stand. In fact, Ain-5 seems like it's going to be able to hold against the Illuminate attacks, especially with the DSS into position, providing much needed and vital support for fellow Helldivers. Though that support is going to soon expire over here, so we will need to ensure that it is reactivated in order to continue the fight. And if we want to hold Ain-5, we will need to keep the DSS in position. Of course, the concern, if one could call it that, with regards to this situation is that it robs Eukoria of vital support at a time when things may not be looking necessarily as bright as they should for managed democracy. Again, we are not here to criticize, but it should be noted that the actions of Helldivers across the front have not necessarily followed in with the highest standards of service that is expected of them by Super Earth. Specifically, that when we look at the way people play these kind of matches, there is a lack of focus and coordination that is on display, to be certain. This is not really a criticism to fellow Helldivers who are every day sacrificing their time, blood, and energy to defend managed democracy, but perhaps some things could be further optimized compared to where they are. For instance, we could have won those previous planets had people focused on these things. But before we go into the nitty-gritty of the galactic map and what things are happening around the galaxy or around the sector, it is worth considering these kind of tactics. Because when we consider the way most people handle these missions, there is absolutely a pattern. Certainly there are many Helldivers who go into missions and do their job and get the objectives done properly within the fastest time possible and achieve success. But there are certain people who besmirch the name of Helldiver and go on something of a sightseeing tour in these missions. I mean, to be sure, everyone is entitled to their own specific way of waging war and defending Super Earth, but it is perhaps suboptimal to go on a sightseeing tour in the middle of a ruined city that the Illuminate or automatons or terminids are attacking. We have a job to do, and doing that job effectively is what makes us Helldivers. That is at least the perspective of the Ministry of Truth, and any deviation from the Ministry of Truth will be severely punished and censored, or at least that's what Super Earth would say. Realistically, you can do whatever you want, but it is not necessarily an ideal path to end up in a situation where a mission that could be done in 20 minutes is instead done in 40 because people have this tendency of going off the beaten path, finding every single base and minor objectives and location of interest. If you're looking for samples, there's plenty of ways to collect them, even doing regular missions. If you're looking to get minor objectives done or increase the war score or get war bonds, there are plenty of efficient ways of doing so. Trying to do everything at once in every single mission ends up being highly inefficient for everyone involved, for yourself, for your teammates who have to wait for you, and also there is that specific type of Helldiver, the kind who just wants to really enjoy the show as much as possible. I mean, certainly not his fault that his teammates left him behind at the end of this mission. He was just defending democracy until the last, even as the shuttle extraction timer was kicking off. This is a common tendency, and it is a common tendency that one may notice in random groups of players all around the world in many different video games. It would be certainly ideal if people had any kind of understanding of communication or capability of following any kind of ping or markers or anything like that, but unfortunately such is the way of defending Super Earth, and we are not here to go against that. No, we are here to spread the light of democracy in all of its forms as far and away as possible. Now, looking back at the galactic map of the situation that is currently unfolding, with the automatons, it's something of a slow burn, really. It has been like that ever since Cyberstan was burned to a crisp by the Democracy Space Station, as well as pure orbital bombardment. Whatever they are cooking, we have no idea whatsoever. I actually think it would be interesting if we were able to get to make our way back somehow to Cyberstan. I mean, there are possibilities, undeniably so, but the defense of these planets is very high. In the Terminate sector, Bore Rock is still fought over constantly. It is a good grind location, and there's always going to be people fighting against the Terminates. They're a good source of farming resources for the war effort. So if you want samples, if you want super credits, going after the Terminates is not really the worst idea. One shouldn't begrudge anyone that goes after the Terminates, because that is what they're there for, unless they start a massive invasion. And look, it is always worth saying this much about the Terminates. Someone needs to fight them. The war doesn't just end on one sector. It might pause a bit in one sector, like we see with the automatons, but it never fully ends. So someone needs to go defend that situation. Now, since some time has passed since I initially started recording after the section, so it seems we will be holding on to Ain-5 over here with the Democracy Space Station, and the vote is even out there to move it to Eukoria, right there, in order to hopefully keep this planet as well. Will we succeed? Will we fail? It's hard to say, but as things currently stand, it does seem like Ain-5 is going to be held by Helldivers, especially if there's 7,000 people over there. So we needed more in Eukoria to stop the Illuminate from taking over the planet. If we can hold on this planet, we will succeed with a major war order. What would be my best guess on the subject? It's up in the air, really. Depends on how people handle the next 11 hours at this stage. I guess we will find out. It is one of those interesting dilemmas. It could go either way. The possibility for success is there. The possibility of failure is definitely there. I suppose we'll find out which way things go. Christine signing out.